So we're back with probably the final installment of feretory. So we've got one or perhaps two adventures left, and some optional classes, it looked like. So the Goblin Grinder. The streets of Galgabeck are littered with corpses, twisted, inhuman things. A goblin isn't an attractive sight on a good day, and dead, they are truly distasteful. Their mottled, ropey flesh rots but never decomposes. Even the oldest skins on the darkest alleys hold their shape to warn passerby of their swiftly approaching end. There's also living goblins, probably the bigger issue here. They crawl inside basements, nest within cupboards, use dogs for target practice, and generally wreak havoc upon the hapless Galgabeckians. More and more townsfolk appear to be afflicted with the dreaded goblin curse. With such a large infestation of the literal scoundrels, it's becoming very difficult to figure out which one of them to snuff, saving yourself from becoming one of them. Not to worry, for the low cost of 40 silver, local alchemist Nagelkrat has a cure. Until the price rises tomorrow anyway. The day after that, and the day after that. What's really going on? Nagelkrat recently inherited the derelict mill from his father, mentor, and teacher, Irvin Krat. Prior to this mysterious occurrence, Irvin perished due to poison planted in his medication by an unidentified assassin. Despite fulfilling a threefold role in Nagel's life, Irvin was never very good at any of them. Inside the mill, Nagel found a large stash of alchemical supplies, as well as an enormous contraption labeled the Goblin Grinder. Using the meager income his father's medical shop left, he purchased his scheme's necessary supplies. Nagel's scheme: get a steady supply of corpses for the Goblin Grinder. Nagel is paying a gravedigger named Klarg to deliver occasional bodies. 2. Make goblins. The goblins infest Galgenbeck, cause the townsfolk issues, but most importantly inflict as many people as possible with the goblin curse. And yeah, just a reminder that if you're hurt by a goblin, it will turn into one in a short number of days unless you kill it. 3. Create a goblin cure. It's not really a cure, it just postpones the symptoms, but it's enough to give a desperate Galgenbeckian some hope. Sell it. Sell a lot of it. Repeat. And some reason you might care. 2. Nagel hires you as a medical shop guard. Nagel serves increasing numbers of Galgabeckians daily, and for some reason they keep getting more agitated. Clark can't keep up with every broke peasant actively transforming into a goblin and needs the cure now. Or maybe, 1. They're afflicted by the goblin curse and lack funds to keep up with Nagel's prices. The goblin ambush and subsequent retreat could leave them worried about a possible transformation, and even the most affluent traveler has difficulty keeping up with the cure's steadily inflating price. Characters of note: the bastard, Using the goblin grinder and his own alchemical knowledge, Nagel tried to create a leader to direct the others, creating the bastard. The corpse was a torturer from a group of unsavory royals, so he eased right into upper management. He's aware enough to speak, mostly used to throw crude insults. And allied goblins can't be shaken and get a defense bonus until he's dead. A Nagelkrat, alchemist, murderer, conman. Nagel cares about one person in the world, and his name rhymes with Vagel. He killed his father to inherit a grain mill that could no longer process grain. Has no loyalty to his goblins and begs, pleads, bribes, and cries to avoid harm. Nagel is a smart worm, running back to the mill at the earliest sign of trouble. Thin curly hair, red apron, obsessively clean. And the only really special thing about him is he has a smoke bomb to get away. Quarg, gravedigger, mercenary. Nagel pays Quargs 50 silver per body delivered. Seems a bit high for his profit margins. If you're selling 40 per cure, at least to start with. She's not picky about what happens to them afterward, and works as muscle for the medical shop for 10 silver an hour. She's a simple woman and likes the opportunities afforded to her when she has a salary beyond grave digging's pennies. Easily bribed. Convincing her to leave her post or miss a delivery is a very low presence test if she's offered more silver. Dirty, grim stare, shovel strapped to her back, broken nose. The medical shop smells vaguely metallic, shelves brimming with the goblin cure. Nagel has Quarg stand around and look tough during the busiest hours of the day. Occasionally she breaks up fights or protects Nagel from angry townsfolk. Nagel insists on carrying all his silver in his apron before storage at the mill. It's pretty heavy. He can shed it if chased to make any agility test to catch him DR16. If he drops the apron, it has a total of a maximum of 100 silver in it, which is pretty sizable. There's a crate hidden underneath the floor behind the counter via latch. If Nagel is out of options and needs to run, he can pop the goblin crate. Up to 5 goblins leap out, viciously attack anyone, except for Nagel. As sold here, 40 silver plus 5. Yeah, for 5 each day. Past the first one. Flash powder, like it's a healing tincture, mostly mouse dung, dirty water, and red pigment. One consumed roll a d4. On a 1, attacks and defense are rolled at -2 until a full night's rest to get over whatever it did to you. Notably, does not heal wounds or diseases. Invigorating elixir, 25 silver. Really does provide short-term bursts of energy. Also might stop your heart. Grants an agility for 1 hour after imbibing. When the hour's up, roll a d8. On a 1, take d8 damage from sharp pains in your chest. Juice, 7 silver. This is just juice. He uses apples? It's apple juice. The direct mill. Whenever the PCs linger, hesitate, or spend too much time on something, Nagel makes another goblin. From outside, enormous boarded up windows and very faint mechanical grinding noise come from the top. If PCs put their ear to the door, Test presents DR14 to hear snickering and chuckling within. The barricade. Faint rotting smell, soft noises from all directions, mechanical grinding overhead. A crude barricade is in front of the entrance, blocking the rest of the room from view. It's constructed from cabinets, chairs, smashed-out chemical supplies, and a large bookshelf. Scattered books have fallen off of the down bookshelf, heady academic alchemical texts. Pool of black bubbling and popping liquid, a volatile mixture of trash alchemical ingredients. Trail of blood leading through the barricade's opening, accompanied by scratches and grooves. Quarg makes on the stone floor, delivering bodies. Northeast, a small opening in the trash wall leading to the rest of the room. South, the mill door to the mill. If the bookshelf is moved, find a hatch leading to the basement. Looking at books is a waste of time. Half the information is useless, and the other half requires hours of study. Licking the liquid, your tongue is permanently stained black. The moment the door is opened, the goblins in 1B light the cannon's 1-minute fuse. When the goblins light the fuse, it's a presence test to notice it over the grinder's roar. You may discover the basement by hearing the impact of something heavy against it, like a body, revealing its hollow. Cannonball. Sulfur smell mixed with rot and decay. The mechanical grinding continues. A cannon with a long and winding fuse is positioned to fire upon the exit through the barricade. 3 cannonballs squat behind it. A component shelf, largely intact, rests behind the cannon. When the cannon goes off, it jostles a shelf, knocking it over, splashing components across the floor. Powerful acid eats away the stone, revealing the basement. Up, dirty stairs lead further into the mill. South, the exit through the barricade. And just saying that if you are in the line of fire of the cannon, that is instant death. And, you know, when it goes off, the whole mill is alerted. 3 excited goblins, given a chance to fire a cannon, and are going to take it no matter what. 1 goblin, alchemical explosive. Any PC within 10 feet of the blast must make an agility check or take damage and be set ablaze. Goblins try to prevent you from accessing and dousing the fuse. All else is secondary. In the basement, horde smell, rotten blood, very quiet, distant rumbles. rotting grain scattered across the floor. The body of Irvin Cat, heavily disfigured, bloody and rotting. Nagel recently took some anger out on the corpse. A blood-stained shovel. Searching the body, it is empty except for 2 keepsakes. A vial of sour yellow liquid, alchemical pain remedy. Heals D6 plus 1 when drunk, but dulls the senses, -2 presence for an hour. A spare key, hidden in his boot, activates the goblin grinder. Two, fire. Acrid gas stench. Mechanical grinding is louder. If the cannon was fired, the bucket goblin douses the first person coming up the stairs and the archer goblin shoot immediately after. If the cannon is not fired, they are unaware because they couldn't hear any commotion over the grinder's roar. 3 archer goblins like seeing things set on fire. 1 goblin, unequipped with anything besides an oil bucket, has lower morale and a mucky written across their forehead, tries to douse the PCs while the other 2 fire from afar. An oil container in the room's center, floating within, is the key to 5, painted black. 2 buckets, also filled with oil. 3 tall bookshelves, goblin perches. Quarg's trail of blood continues. Up, stairs lead to the 3rd floor of the mill. Locked via locked hatch. Down, stairs back to the 1st floor. Oil, thick black, adheres to skin and cloth alike. While doused in oil, PCs take an additional D2 damage from flame-based attacks. They catch fire more easily. Remove oil, PC must spend their turn scraping it off. Examining the bookshelves stocked with healing tincture, i.e. useless and potentially harmful, works to douse fire of various alchemical recipes, including one detailing the creation of healing tincture. 3. Laboratory. Beakers bubble. The room shakes, and the goblin grinder is deafening overhead. 2 huge tables, covered in smashed bottles, scattered reagents, alchemical solutions, and bubbling concoctions. A large puddle of amber-orange goo foaming beneath the tables. Really, an alchemical ooze. 3 shelves, stocked to the brim with goblin cure. Alchemical ooze is mindless and hungry. Whenever you damage the ooze, you must test strength, or your weapon becomes stuck to it. If not removed the next round, the weapon is destroyed. Quarg's trail curves around the table and snakes up. Stairs to the 4th floor, down back to the 2nd. Goo. If the cannon was fired, the disturbed alchemical ooze immediately crawls towards you, entering the room. Otherwise, it only attacks if you're nearby. Alchemy tables. Every round, roll a d6. On 1 to 2, something on the table boils over and splashes everything nearby. With a strange fluid, the ooze is not affected. Roll a d4. So, acid. Every PC must test agility or take damage, ignoring armor. Maybe a 4. Sweet. You heal d4. 4. The Goblin Grinder, shockingly awful smell, ear-splitting churn of a grinder, smoky haze. Goblin Grinder roaring, huge and horrible, spewing hazy smoke and stained with bloody ooze. A pile of corpses in every stage of putrefaction, the end of Korg's blood trail. Down, back to the third floor. Goblin Cavalcade. Along with the Bastard and Agile, there are ex-goblins ripe for murder. X is 2, plus however many goblins Nagel created during the ascent. Nagel hides behind his goblin horde until threatened, attempting to escape down the stairs. The grinder must be activated via key and fuel. And one human corpse, fed into the east end, which takes 2 actions. The only keys are Nagel's and Irvin's. Nagel Krat really doesn't want to die. The Bastard relishes in chaos and cruelty. Fresh goblins, newly baked and ready to cause problems. So that brings us to the end of that adventure and to our first optional class. Cursed Skinwalker, a shape-shifting class. You should have died, but something grabbed hold of your soul as it seeped into the river of death and sealed you once again in mortal flesh. Only this time the cage is not yours alone. In the afterlife's currents, your soul mingled with another dying creature's, leaving you halved. Now you live a shared existence, locked in everlasting struggle between man and monster. You should have died. And your first death was on the back of a plague cart. Abilities weaken mind. Roll 3d6 minus 2 for presence. Bestial instincts, roll 3d6 plus 1 for strength and toughness. Roll d6 on the weapon and d2 on the armor table. You can give into your antithetical others' advances, reshaping your anatomy into its likeness. Shifting your bones requires a single painful round. Armor and weapons are likely unusable in your new form. One of the following stands ever at your existence's other side. 2, a flayed and dripping wolf. Ferocious, attacks are DR10. Your fangs crit on a natural 19 as well. And triggers a morale test. Slick from blood, minus D2 incoming damage. Pale One, an alien class. You lurk on settlement's fringes, observing, perhaps judging, but rarely interacting. You are fundamentally other and belong nowhere. You experience bouts of incoherent madness and self-destructive rages, but mostly you await the inevitable in solitary resignation. You are 2, accidentally summoned by cultists in Gravitas. Your mind and movements are alien, plus 1 agility and presence, but your bones are hollow and fragile, minus 2 toughness. Roll d6 on the weapon table and d2 on the armor table. You are literate, but only in dead languages, and cannot use scrolls. However, you can intuitively use 1 randomly rolled power, determined daily at dawn or dusk. And you are 2. Membranous wings. Can fly short distances but cannot wear armor. Birds dislike you. And you call yourself nameless Wilts, the saint. Not the most cohesive table they've done. Dead God's Prophet, a blasphemous class. Voices in your head tell you what to do. At least you think so. You are the prophet of a god slain by the two-headed basilisk she. Within Bergen crypts, the wretched peaks. Now no one wants to hear the words of your god, but you still can, day and night like hot wires through your brain. Your god is Malai, Herald of Panic. Obsessed. Bonus to presence. Weak from neglect. Penalty to toughness. Roll D4 on the weapon table and a D2 on the armor table. You are literate and can use scrolls, but must pass a presence test or immediately attempt to destroy false gods' words. If you start with a scroll, assume you pass the test. Roll randomly for 2 gifts from your dead god. Six, my body, a vessel. Your god may be dead, but what is death to a god? Once a day, you may allow your god's ghost to enter your flesh and reveal a truth. One yes-no question to the GM, which must be answered truthfully. The god departs, leaving your weakened and frail. And 7, in death I live. When you die, make a presence test. If you pass, your god refuses your passage into the afterlife, and you recover with 1 HP. Otherwise, your body is consumed in holy flames. Well, holy, pretty sure is dependent on the viewpoint. And yeah, that brings us to this final class, Forlorn Philosopher. The road, an unreasoning maze, every temple soaked in blood, each destination drenched in gloom. You once thought that cold analysis might tame fate itself. Now that dream of reason has decayed to shifting madness, and only cold remains. The roots of your dejection. 8. You were Sigilland's most revered philosopher, which sank into the sea, and now everybody ruthlessly mocks you. A bonus to presence, penalty to strength, ruthless inquisition. Test presence to tear through others' deceptions and delusions. Enough of these lies. Roll D6 on the weapon table and D2 on the armor table. You begin with 1 tablet of ochre obscurity and one of the following. 2, I'm beginning to think that one's weight is off. Yeah, that's like 5 or 6 2s out of maybe 8. A Hegelian owl. This philosophical beast is a bitter, reluctant, and hypersensitive assistant. Persuaded with a presence test, after 2 acts of aid, it regards you with mute contempt. It can fetch small items, attack enemies, and find traps. By night, the owl delivers understanding of what you should have done today in dreams. Galleon owl, too quick to hit. D4 damage, attacks are DR8. The dejection of your roots. 3. Brought up by illiterate, pig-ignorant churls in a peaceful wasteland forest. Made from clay of the Valley of the Unfortunate Undead, these ochre tablets are relics of a forgotten mine cult, so rare they can be sold for 100 silver. Yeah, it's a pretty hefty chunk. Each tablet counts as a normal-sized item. If a PC fumbles an attack or defense, one tablet breaks. Otherwise, they follow the same usage rules as scrolls. The coded glyphs are challenging to comprehend. PCs wielding their power must have +3 presence minimum or be a forlorn philosopher. And, well, maybe rule 3. Ping the shared subconscious. You sense the presence of living creatures within 70 feet, even in adjacent rooms. 8. Structural cryocondensation. Freezing moon. Water freezes from the air, forming a 15-foot-long bridge where all water within 150 feet, unfortunately excluding that within living creatures, freezes. 4. Logical prognostication. Using pure logic, you can deduce the nature of any traps or mechanisms within 30 feet, or of any powers used within 60 feet. So that brings us to the end of today, and also the end of feretory. I don't know why I think just because of the last one I was so shocked by that they kind of did an adventure in those last 2 pages, that's why I thought that one was, which it's good it wasn't, because we would have run out of time. I like these optional classes a lot better than the ones we've seen previously. They're all really a lot more unique feeling to me. I also really like the adventure, very compact, and just that journey upwards and a race against time. You know, always having that pressure on you that if you're not moving, goblins are getting made. So we do have one more Morkborg product that I really don't know what to expect from. It's very unconventional looking, not that, well, even more so than the others. We'll probably take a break between this and that, although I'm not entirely sure about what I've got planned to do. That's it for today. Next stream is most likely tomorrow.